Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Okay, so Venerable Sangha, Syale, Sandhya Dhamma friends. So we'll resume our discussion, right? We'll resume our discussion on the paccayas from the connaissance middle group. So last week we were discussing on the connaissance disassociation, and we had quite a bit of questions, many questions, and so today we have to discuss the analytical states of the connaissance disassociation.
尊敬的各位尊者、各位女士、各位贤友，大家晚上好。今天呢，我们来继续学习发趣论的相关内容。那上一节课呢，我们一起探讨了大具声组的诸缘，然后呢，对于小具声组的诸缘呢，我们学习了有关于具声不相应缘的内容，并且呢，有很多的问题。
Right. So we'll discuss this analytical states. So we know that there are three enumerations for the connaissance disassociation, and so starting from the first one, kusalo abhyakatassa, the wholesome supporting to the indeterminate, right? So the wholesome aggregates are in this side, right? They are there. So in fivefold existence, now we have to know this, the disassociation is there only in the fivefold existence, where the nama and rupa coexist in adjacent places. So in the fivefold existence, we have 21 wholesome chittas, the 38 mental factors, and in these mental aggregates, so we have to take both constituents and assemblage, and they are supported. They support to the mind-produced matter generated by the wholesome consciousness. So this is the first one, right? So we have to understand here they are supporting both in constituents and assemblage, as in the previous kusala abhyakata, right? So in almost all the paccayas from the connaissance small group, we had this relationship, and we had this constituent and the assemblage relationship in there, right? So the next one is akusalo abhyakatassa, the unwholesome, supporting to the indeterminate. So it is the same type of relationship we find here, right? So we have the 12 unwholesome consciousness and the 27 mental factors in the fivefold existence. So we have both constituents and assemblage, and they are supporting the mind-produced matter generated by unwholesome consciousness. The case with the abhyakato abhyakatassa, indeterminate supporting to the indeterminate. So it's two-folded, two types, at the period of life continuity and at the moment of conception. To mind-produced matter in the the conditioned states are the mind-produced matter, and so in the resultant and the functional consciousness, certain consciousnesses needs to be removed, right? So the from the resultant consciousness, the four immaterial resultants, right, are removed, and then the two sets of fivefold sense consciousnesses, because they do not produce mind-produced matter, and the death consciousness of the arahantas, it does not produce mind-produced matter also. So altogether there are 22 resultant consciousness, and then 20 functional consciousness, and then there are 38 mental factors, and they support with both constituents and assemblage, right? So they support this mind-produced matter. So at the moment of conception, right? In the moment of the conception, then there are here at the moment of conception, karma produced matter, right? They are supported, right? The karma produced matter at the moment of conception, karma produced matter, and also there are, okay, let's put it here, right? And also there are 15 rebirth linking consciousness in fivefold existence, right? And 35 mental factors that are mental aggregates that are both constituents and assemblage, right? So we have this relation, the conditioned state there. So how do they get related, right? So the 15 rebirth linking consciousnesses, right, in the fivefold existence and 35 mental aggregates, right? Mental aggregates that are both constituent and in assemblage, they support this at the moment of karma produced matter, right? They support this karma produced matter. So that's how this relationship is taking place. And so there is one special thing with the heart base, as we learned in the connaissance condition, the Sahajāta Paccaya. They support the mental aggregates, right? So they support the mental aggregates which are indicated from this part, right? So the disassociation condition, we have these two types of relationships here. So we discussed the connaissance large and medium Pali table, right? Okay, and now we have to learn on why that the names, right? In the beginning, I mentioned in the connaissance group that there are these three names, and I will explain why each of the paccayas in each of these groups are given these names, right? Connaissance large, right? Medium and small.
接下来我们将看一下为什么对于俱生组当中的元，我们要将它们分类为大、中、小的原因。
Right. So this classification, so now that we have learned all 15 conditions in the connaissance group, now we have the understanding, we know what are the types of conditioning phenomena and the conditioned phenomena for each of the paccayas. So so it's the classification, right? The connaissance group is the classification is based on the comparison, right? By comparing the comparison of the conditioning phenomena, right? So in the case of the connaissance small group, only a small number of phenomena are included, consisting of a portion of the mental phenomena and a yeah, it should be like, it's not just the conditioning phenomena, also the conditioned phenomena also should be considered, right? The conditioning phenomena and the conditioned phenomena both can be considered here. So whatever it is that in the connaissance small group, only a small number of phenomena are included, right? Not all. So so in the connaissance small group, we know this, the indriya paccaya, the faculty condition. So it's the paccaya which includes the most phenomena, right? Because it involves the 89 consciousness and part of the mental factors, right? Not all, especially with the conditioning states, right? So therefore, the word minor or the word small is used. And with the case of the connaissance large group, right? So all conditioned mental phenomena and the material phenomena are included, right? conditioning phenomena, so which means conditioning mental phenomena. So the nibbana, it's not a conditioned mental phenomena. Apart from that, all the material, the mental aggregates and material phenomena, the matter are included. So therefore, the scope is an extensive one. So therefore, the term large is used because of that, right? So in the commentaries, or if not in the sub-commentaries, I think in the commentaries, right? This word sabbatānika is used, right? So sabba means uh, it serves cause for all conditioning mental and material phenomena. Tāna means cause or the reason, right? And in some of the texts, the word maha chatukka is used. Maha means the great, chatukka means the group of four, right? So these words are used to explain these two uh, the the a large connaissance subgroup. And for the medium, the reason is obvious, right? So the four paccayas which comes in the medium, the anyamanya, vipaka, sampayutta, and vipayutta, they fall in between, right? They are not the number of conditioning states, and the condition states are not as small, like not as little as the connaissance small group, and at the same time they are not as complete and full as the connaissance large group. So they fall in between, in the middle. So that's why the word medium is used. Okay, so since the beginning of our class, I ask you all to memorize the analytical states, right? So that's the basics. Now this knowledge, this practice, it comes into play. Okay, so this is about finding the commons in the conditioning forces, right? So, okay, we take an example here. In all the paccayas, starting from the hetu paccaya, like, right? So when we were discussing the let me show you this. Yeah. So when we're discussing all the paccayas, there was a sentence called the conditioning forces, right? Which involved not just the condition that we are discussing, but it included some other paccayas, right? In the case of hetu, there were 12 paccayas. So now we are going to discuss on how to derive these 12 paccayas related to hetu, like that. We are discussing it for all the 15 paccayas we discussed until now. Right. So, okay. So this is a statement that we went through, right? In the hetu, there was this statement. So we have to understand what is mentioned as this 12 condition. So what we have to understand here is that when a conditioning phenomena support a certain set of conditioned phenomena with a certain conditioning force, some of the other conditioning forces too will support simultaneously through the conditioning and conditioned phenomena, right? So it's like some of them will be applicable at the same time. So these conditioning and the conditioning phenomena will be common, right? So that's why the word common comes. It will be common either in fully or partially, right? So when two conditions have this feature of having shared the conditioning and the condition state, the similar conditioning states, it's called sabhaga, right? So meaning of sabhaga is having a similar path, a shared portion, right? So sabhaga, sa Sa means similar. Bhaga denotes, bhaga means portion or part, right? So some portion, some part of the conditioning and the conditioning states are similar, right? These two paccayas are similar due to some reason, right? And certain paccayas, right? Conversely, some of the conditioning forces, they do not support simultaneously, and those conditions are called visabhaga, right? Visabhaga, which means not commons. So in the case of the root conditioning, so it was stated that conditioning forces, 12 conditions, paccaya, that are completely and appropriately connaissance large and medium subgroups, predominance, faculty, path, root. So this refers to the, like it says connaissance large here, so it refers to the connaissance great large group, right? And then we have the connaissance middle here, right? Connaissance middle means the connaissance medium group. And then we have the predominance in the faculty and path. So they operate, all these paccayas, they operate together with the root condition. So it adds up, it sums up to 12 condition. So this is what it means, right? This is what it means in these paccayas, in this statement. So so this is the same case with the other conditions as well, right? So we'll go through them in detail, individually, on how what they mean, right? So we'll first look at individually on how these conditions become common, and also after everything we'll be learning the meaning of completely and appropriately. So now, so in this table, now we have presented this table. I'm not going to go through them, right? So so what it is present in this table are the 7 conditions from the connaissance small group, right? They are summarized here into this table, so which we already discussed, right? So it's there in summary to recap, so y'all can do it. Okay. So when we are investigating commons commons for a particular condition, we have to investigate, right? We have to find them within that group itself, right? So if you are dealing with the conditions of the connaissance group, example, if you are looking at the path condition, then we have to look at the common conditions in the same group, right? We should not look like there were 9 groups in total. 9 groups in total. We are not going to look into the conditions which fall in the different group. We have to only look into the same group, right? We are not looking into, if you are looking at a paccaya from the Sahajāta group, we are not looking at the paccayas from the Arammana and Upanishad group, etc., right? So that we have to remember in the first place. So there are another few terms that we have to understand here, right? In Pali, so the condition we are investigating, right, that is called the Mula Paccaya, right? We call in English we can say anchor condition, and the other conditions which are used for the references and which are in comparison, which are in the comparison, are called the Muli Paccaya, right? Comparison conditions. So we need to know these terms, because until the end of the Paṭṭhāna course, we'll be using these 2 words, Mula and Muli, very often, right? So first we'll look at the Hetu Paccaya, right? So we have the Hetu here. Right. So this is the anchor condition, the Hetu here, and we have the comparisons, the Paccayas we compare, right? So so now really I have presented the answer here, right? I have given you all the answer, but what you have to do really is to compare it, right? You have to take the hetu pacha, the conditioning and the condition state, and then you take the connaissance predominance and see, right, whether they are common or not, right? That's what really you have to do, right? So for the root, the conditioning states are the greed, hatred, delusion, non-greed, non-hate, and non-delusion. Then you take this and compare with the connaissance predominance, right? So in the connaissance predominance, what are the paccayas? What are the conditioning states? That are the the out of the four, from the chanda, chitta, virya, and vimansa, from all the four, then you have to see, right? So when we compare the, okay, I'll write it, right? All four. Chanda is desire, consciousness, right? Virya is effort, and the fourth one is investigation, right? So those four are the conditioning states, right? So when we start comparing the hetu, the root, right? We have lobha, dosa, moha, alobha, adosa, amoha. So from these, only this amoha becomes a common, right? These three are not present in the hetu paccaya. So because this investigation is common between root and the connaissance predominance, so they become common, right? So like that, you have to take all the from all the paccayas, we have to take it and compare. So then we have to compare the next paccaya, right? So what is the next paccaya? It's the Sahajāta karma, right? Connaissance karma. Yeah, so this one is not common, because for the karma, the conditioning state is only the volition, the cetana. So cetana does not fall here, right? So it's not common. And same case with the nama ahara, right? The nutrient, mental nutriment condition. So it's the conditioning states are not common, right? Then we have the Sahajāta indriya. So in the Sahajāta indriya, there are nine types of conditioning states, and so one of them is wisdom, right? So wisdom is again the amoha. So right. So in the there are how many faculties in total? There are 5 faculties in total which are associated with wisdom, right? So because of that, hetu and indriya, they become common. Okay, so for the connaissance middle, there are these 4 paccayas, right? Anyamanya, the mutuality, vipaka, resultant, the sampayutta, association, vipayutta, the disassociation. So they become common, right? The root and these 4 paccayas, 4 conditions from the connaissance middle group, they become common. So how do they become common? So the anyamanya paccaya, the mutuality, they become common because this anyamanya is taking place when they are taking place between the mental aggregates, right? So when the mental aggregates are arising, then they become common, right? Some of the hetu have the anyamanya paccaya, right? So when they are supporting, when the hetu is supporting, when the 6 roots, when they are supporting the mental aggregates, anyamanya paccaya is there, right? Yeah. So To get into a little bit of detail, right? So if we take this 6, right? So these six paccayas, they are supporting the associated aggregates, right? They are supporting the aggregates through the force of through the force of through the force of uh, through the force of root condition, right? So when they support like this, right? Through the force of root condition, they support. Too far away. Okay, they support with the root condition, right? And it support with the through the mutuality too, right? But with the case of the mutuality, right? So when these 6 are supporting the associated with the root condition, mutuality is supporting. Mutuality condition is also there, right? So these 6 are supporting to this side, but we know for the mutuality, it happens in 2 ways, right? It happens both ways, right? Conditioning state supports to a set of like conditioning states to a condition state, and they support back, right? So this is the nature of the mutuality condition. But in this case, what we are looking at is the one side of the mutuality, right? Supporting from this side to the associated aggregates only, right? So that's how the mutuality become a common for root. Good. So moving into the next paccaya, which is the vipaka paccaya, right? Vipaka paccaya is obvious. Now, from when the root conditioning is there, right? When the root condition is there, and we know some of them are rooted resultant consciousness. So how many rooted resultant consciousness are there? From 36 resultant consciousness, 15 of them are non-rooted resultant consciousness. So the 23 rooted consciousness, when these roots are supporting, then when these 6 roots, not the 6 really, the 3 resultant roots are supporting the associated aggregates, the vipaka paccaya is there. So that's why we take it here. And for the sampayutta, it's very obvious, because when the 4 mental aggregates are supporting each other, this is present. So with the vipayutta, it's quite easy. So whenever the rooted mental aggregates are arising, these roots, they support the mind, the materiality which are connected to the mind, right? So in the moment of conception, the karma produced matter, they are related with the roots. If the rebirth linking is a rooted one, then it will be applicable. And also with the resultant and the functional rooted consciousness, if they are if the mind-born materiality are arising, the vipayutta paccaya is applicable. No questions, right? Okay, so how did this 12 paccayas, 12 conditions came, right? So 4 from here, from the connaissance grade, and another 4 from the connaissance middle, right? And then 1 from here, the Vimansadipati, the predominance, and we have the Sahajāta Indriya here, and the Magga, the path one, right? So we have 11 paccayas here, right? 8 and 3, 11. And together with the root, there are 12 paccayas. So, one thing I need to remind you, right? So this, as I told you, that I did this exercise by myself, right? And I wrote everything for, because I produced this for a book, you know, I wrote this for in my book. So what you really have to do is that, like if you, like I ask you to memorize, as it's a must, and if you have memorized it, then start comparing all the paccayas, right? All the other 14 paccayas with the anchor paccaya, right? So this is the anchor condition, and these are the comparison conditions. So you have to compare all these 14 of them uh, by yourself, right? So make this exercise, like do it by yourself, right? So write down in a piece of paper, write them, do whatever whatever the method, make sure that you do this exercise, right? Because this is going to be extremely important, right? Because when we are moving into the next chapter, right? After discussing all the next chapter, after discussing this section, when we are moving to the next section, then this knowledge, this having this thing in your memory, it's going to be essential. So now for in these statements, right, there was a word, the phrase. What is this phrase? Okay, so this is, there was this phrase, right? Completely and appropriately. So now we are going to explain this phrase. So, so what it indicates? It indicates the relationship that the comparison conditions have with the anchoring comparison, anchor condition, right? So, right. Okay. So what it means as the excess, right? What it means as, what is mean as the completely, which means that the comparison conditions have their uh, conditioning and the condition phenomena in excess of the anchor condition, or when the comparison condition is similar, right? The the conditioning and the condition phenomena are similar to the anchor condition, then it's the word completely is used, right? So say for example, there are two states here, right? Two situations. One is it's in excess. Secondly, when the comparison condition is similar. Okay, so we'll look at these two situations, right? So the number one case is in the case of excess, right? When the conditioning and the condition states are in excess on the comparison on of the than the anchoring states, right? So we consider the two paccayas, the hetu, the root condition, and the connaissance condition, the Sahajāta, right? So our anchor paccaya, the anchor condition is the root condition, and the connaissance condition is the comparison condition. So we know the root condition. Now we have to really remember to understand this thing, we have to remember the analytical states, right? For we know the connaissance condition, it covers all the mental and the material phenomena. So the root condition, the connaissance condition is in excess of the root condition, right? So therefore it is considered, yeah. So therefore it is taken as completely. So all the other paccayas from the connaissance grade group are completely, right? They become completely in this phrase. Take is the word, the term completely has to be used. So the reason, obviously, as the connaissance condition, the other three conditions have the same characteristics, right? They support all the mental and the material phenomena. Okay, So this is the case in excess. So the second case, the second situation was the comparing condition being similar to the anchor condition. So when we take the paccayas from the Connaissance grade group and compare them with each other, then it's a case of being similar, right? If we take the Connaissance group and then so I'm sorry, if we take the Connaissance condition and then we take the dependence condition, the Connaissance dependent condition. So the analytical states of the Connaissance dependence condition are similar to the Connaissance condition, right? So therefore therefore it is same, it is similar, right? And because of that, the term completely is used for the conditions like this. So so we have to, now there was another thing which here, the analytical states of the, I mean, in general, in the great connaissance group, the term completely and appropriately is not, it's not used, right? Because they are all anyway similar, right? So that we done with the term completely. Now we look at the term appropriately. So this is applicable. This is applies in the middle connaissance, the medium group, and small connaissance group, right? So so if we compare, right, we already did kind of a thing. So hetu, and if you take the root condition hetu paccaya as the anchor, and you take the association as the sampayutta paccaya. So when the mental phenomena are supporting each other, then this similarity is there, right? They become common. But when this from the hetu paccaya, from the root condition, there are certain material phenomena arise when the roots support the material phenomena, then this association condition does not apply. So therefore only a portion of the conditioning phenomena and the conditioned phenomena are similar. So these two conditions becomes common because there are common conditioning states, the conditioning phenomena and the conditioned phenomena, but they become common as appropriately, right? Appropriately means that only some part of the phenomena becomes similar. When the hetu is compared with the small connaissance group, right? So so we know we learned that the connaissance predominance condition and the hetu, they become common because of the predominance of investigation, right? Because of the Vimansadhipati. So this is applied only in the wholesome consciousness, and also so in the wholesome consciousness there are three roots really, right? Alobha, adosa, and amoha. So but this is only applied in the wholesome consciousness, and wherever the predominance condition is there with the predominance of investigation. So it does not become common when the other conditions are applied, right? When the other predominance are applied. So in this, when the paccayas are like this, then they become common and appropriately, right? So this is the comparison between the small connaissance group. Like as I mentioned in one of my earlier classes, that we know that the teaching of the Buddha regarding the cause and effect, there are three levels. So the first level is the Four Noble Truths, and the second level, it's the Paticca dependent origination, and the third level we are learning, which is the Paṭṭhāna, which is the most detailed and the expansive way of explaining the relationships between the the cause and effect, right? The teaching on the cause and effect. So why we are learning this thing? It's that when there is this, when there are these, when we, I would say, like when we dig into this level, to the level of the Paṭṭhāna, so this, not just that one paccaya, one condition supporting to another, right? Like simultaneously there are many conditions supporting. So when we are understanding, either in meditation or in any in the pariyatti, so we need to know what are the conditions, what are the conditioning forces applicable for when we are considering a particular condition, right? So if you take the hetu, we have to know what are the other conditions which are supporting to the same, in a similar way, simultaneously.
Yeah, I understand.
It's for, it can be meditated, right? It can be meditated. There are yogis who are meditating this. It's kind of amazing, right? After so many centuries, after the passing of the Buddha, still there are yogis who are meditate with, who want like to meditate this. In the first place, they need to have good pariyatti, right? Without the pariyatti, I mean, from the knowledge from the scriptures like this, then they cannot do. And the other thing is that they need to have a good clear vision, like the good penetrative knowledge on the mentality and the materiality. So when these two comes in together, then some of the yogis are able to practice this thing. So it has been since the ancient time, it has been there, right? Because say in the Visuddhimagga, and in some other commentaries, even in some sutta commentaries in Majjhima Nikaya, I have seen. So when there is the explanation are given for the dependent origination between two points, like one, what do you call it, the cause and the effect. So the dhammas, I mean the conditioning force between those two cause and effect are also explained in there, right? But not in this level, not into this detail as in Paṭṭhāna, but still it has been there since the past. So it has been there, like in a tradition, not just a tradition. It's just, it has been in our practice since the Buddha's time. So either way, you're learning with, like, even if you meditate or not, then you're gaining a lot of wisdom through this. Like wisdom, it becomes a parami, you know. So either way, it's going to support any to attain nibbana.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, so moving into the next paccaya. Now we have to take all the paccayas as anchor, you know, and then this compare it, right? So so the next one from the corners and small is the jhana condition. So for the jhana conditions, we have the initial application, sustained application, joy, feeling, and one-pointedness. So that taken this as anchor, then you have to compare it with the other paccayas or the conditions, right? So with hetu, it's not common. With adhipati, not common. Sahajāta karma, it's not common. Namahara, not common. But it becomes common with the Sahajāta indriya, right? The cognizance faculty, because of Vedana, because of the Vedana, right? The feeling here we have. Then we have the concentration faculty, Ekagata. Right? So for the Magga, it becomes common because of two mental phenomena, which is the Samma Sankappa, right intention is the initial application, right? Right intention is the initial application, and Samma Samadhi, right concentration, is the one-pointedness. And then we, for the consonants great and the consonant middle, it becomes common. Sabhaga and Visabhaga, we are comparing with the same group. I think that's very clear. And like, we can just, I mean, how can I put it in this way? Right. So if some paccaya, right, if some condition, if say some condition is, if a comparison condition become a common, right? I mean, when we take the conditioning states, right? If we take the conditioning states, the condition state becomes sabhaga too. They become common too, right? I mean, there is a common portion. There is a common portion from the conditioning states and the condition states within these two paccayas, right? So if you take the conditioning state, it means that you take the condition states too. Yes.
So, but then you mean we consider both the conditioning and the conditioned Dhamma?
Yes, yes. We take both. I mean, what I'm telling is like if you just take the condition, that's enough. Conditioning state. It's enough. You take the condition, if the condition automatically comes.
好，那在这里呢，我们探讨的这种同分关系呢，因为它是基于原力而去进行分析的。当有原力的时候呢，它必定是联系到原法和原生法的两部分，所以呢，它存在有在原法部分的相同性、趋同性，也当然也会有存在于原生法部分的相同的内容。所以呢，我们可以讲它是会考虑到原法和原所生法两部分的内容。
Right. Now we have the path condition, right? For the path condition, there are wisdom, initial applications, and threefold abstinences and effort. We have the mindfulness, one-pointedness, and the weave, the right? So it becomes common with root because of non-delusion, with the connaissance predominance because of both Viryadipati and Vimansadipati, effort and investigation. With the Sahajāta Kamma and Namahara, it's not common. For the Sahajāta Indriya, it becomes common. For the Virya Indriya, it becomes common. Right? With the Jhana, it becomes common because of the initial application and concentration. With the Sahajāta great and the middle, obviously they are common. So altogether, how many paccayas? I think 14 of them, right? Not 14. 13 conditions.
刚才我们看到根本源是道源的情况，道源的源法呢有9种的心所，就是慧心所、寻心所、三离心所、精进心所、念一尽性，还有邪见心所。和其他的14种源来去进行比较。首先呢，在因缘当中，由于无痴心所而与根本源当中的慧心所同分。俱生增上缘当中呢，由于经济增上和观增上与道源的缘法里面的精进和智慧呢是相同同分。俱生业缘呢和明识缘呢，它们是不存在和道源的同分关系。俱生根源里面呢，则有慧根和精进根与道源的慧和精进是同分的。禅那缘里面呢，则是由于寻和一尽性与道源里面的寻一尽性而同分。大俱生和中俱生呢，它们自然也是同分的。这样加在一起呢，有关于道源呢所出现的同分呢，一共是有13种缘。
Okay, so we stop our discussion here. So if you have any questions, we can discuss. No questions, it seems. So we share the merits and finish in the class. Okay, so we share the merits which we accumulated during our class by learning, teaching, reflecting, and questioning this Dhamma. We share the merits with the deities and deceased relatives and all the beings, and make a wish that we attain Nibbana comfortably with this wholesome karma. Paṭṭhāca bhummaṭṭhā devānāgā mahiddhikā puññantaṃ anumoditvā chiraṃ rakkhantu sāsanaṃ ākāsattha ca bhummattha devānāgā mahiddhikā puññantaṃ anumoditvā chiraṃ rakkhantu desanaṃ ākāsattha ca bhummattha devānāgā mahiddhikā puññantaṃ anumoditvā chiraṃ rakkhantu maṃ paraṃ Idammi ñātīnaṃ hotu sukhitā huntu ñātayo. Idammi ñātīnaṃ hotu sukhitā huntu ñātayo. Idammi ñātīnaṃ hotu sukhitā huntu ñātayo. Imina punya kammena māme bāla samāgamu sataṃ samāgamu hotu yāva nibbāna pattiyā. Yang pattaṃ kusalaṃ tassa anubhavena pānino sabbe saddhamma rājassa ñattvā dhammaṃ sukhavaham papunantu visuddhāya sukhāya patipattiya asoka manupāyāsaṃ nibbāna sukha Tamang chirang titthatu saddhammo dhamme hontu sagarava sabbepi satta kalena samma devo pavassatu yatharakkensu purana surajanu tatevimang raja rakkatu dhammena Atthanova pajang pajang imaya dhammanu dhamma patipattiya buddhaṃ pujemi imaya dhammanu dhamma patipattiya dhammaṃ pujemi imaya dhammanu dhamma patipattiya sanghaṃ pujemi Addhāimāya patipattiya jāti jara vyādhi maranamha parimuccissāmi idamme puññaṃ āsavakkaya vaham hotu idamme puññaṃ nibbānassa paccayo hotu mama puñña bhāgaṃ sabba Tānaṃ bhājemi te sabbe me samang punya bhagaṃ labhantu. Buddha sāsanaṃ chiraṃ titthatu. Buddha sāsanaṃ chiraṃ titthatu. Buddha sāsanaṃ chiraṃ titthatu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you for Buddhist teaching. Please take